Welcome back to Local Static. I'm your host, Payton Cavanaugh, and today we are joined by Deb Cavanaugh, no relation, local singer-songwriter, and we're also joined by Scott with Song City. So we're going to have a great conversation today about places where you can access music and art in creative spaces and collaboration. I'm so excited that you have made the time to be here. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we could really start off just learning a little bit about Deb's music and what first got you interested in music. I know that you've been playing for a while, so if you could talk to us about just your initial inspirations and your journey into becoming a songwriter.
So, believe it or not, I was born a musician. My parents loved to tell me that I sang before I spoke. So I have been immersed in music and doing my own music as long as I can remember.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
When it comes to maybe just your first memories with music, could you walk us through what that was like for you?
So my dad had a song for every occasion, for every day of the week, anything, any event that was happening. And then I spent a lot of time with the parents of my mother's best friend, who were Scottish immigrants who had been classical singers, and I have vivid memories of standing on their dining room table at like 2 or 3 years old and singing with them. And then my dad had lots of musician friends, and they would come to our house and jam together. One of my biggest influences was a fellow Stearns woodman who could play any instrument that you put in his hand by ear. And my brother and I would play a game with him where we'd sing a pop song and he would play it.
We talked about your first introductions to music and your journey into music and writing your own music. Talk to us about your sound specifically, what kind of sets you apart in your genre and what people could expect who might not have heard your music before.
So I like to call my music psychedelic folk. I grew up listening to big band, jazz, and blues, and classical music. I studied classical piano and voice. I actually sang in a choir directed by Duke Ellington, doing his sacred music in Greenwich, Connecticut when I was a teenager. But I always loved rock and roll, and I met my husband, Paul Cavanaugh, and we did a folk rock group called General Eclectic. And then after 20 years, we split up, and I met another Cavanaugh with a K, and he was immersed in traditional folk. So I started learning the mountain dulcimer, the banjo, the mandolin, and finally started playing guitar. And now I combine all of those things to hopefully have a unique sound.
And it sounds like, too, in a lot of your experiences with music from the beginning to now, you're very collaborative in your art. You mentioned that you're a music educator as well. Could you share more about that, being a music educator and being able to share your knowledge and your love of the art?
Sure. So because I grew up in a musical environment, I think it's really important for all children to be able to do that. And so I teach a program called Music Together, which is an organic learning experience for the children who are ages birth through 4. But they come with an adult. And my job is teaching the adults and teaching them how to become musical families and use music to help with their parenting skills.
That's incredible. And kind of to pull us into Song City as well, you're very interested in collaboration with your music and sharing your love for the art and for the craft. With Song City, it's also a space for people to come share their love of music. Could you share more about Song City and what you do, what you are to the community?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in the area, and like Deb, was super involved with a family that was really musical and doing concerts and things all the time. And I feel like my entire childhood setting up lights and microphones and things before I knew how to ride a bike. I really found a lot of that so helpful as I grew up because I had all these people investing into me, kind of like Deb is doing to these families. And so as I got older, moved to Nashville for a few years and got some opportunities there for other people to kind of invest into me and kind of learn some things about that level of music and what goes into it. So once I got back here to New York, I just felt like it was time to kind of give back and try to figure out how can I invest into others, not because I necessarily know more than them, but I think that everybody needs people that are giving them opportunities and giving them just some publicity or whatever it is that they need. I think especially community is the biggest thing that we're about at Song City. So whether it's our showcases or our open mics or our writing retreats, it's really all about how can we invest into the artists, and then at the same time, how can we make the general public aware that we have an incredible music scene, which a lot of people don't know, but it's incredible. So that's really what's behind everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important, of course, to platform local artists and to bring a space where people can come and create together. It's really interesting that you said it's kind of primarily a space for community where you can come together and share your love of the art.
Yeah.
Could you share more about how Song City has been received by the community and the people that come in and participate in these open mics or writing workshops?
Yeah, it's been very encouraging to see the amount of artists that are kind of passing through the different things that we do, and then to be able to kind of watch their friendships grow amongst the other artists, and just to see how they grow with those kinds of opportunities. And it's not that we're the only ones doing that. I mean, there are great venues around that are doing that, and I could name so many of them, Cafe Lena and all these different places. But it's really just encouraging to try to give opportunities for them to grow and to be seen.
Yeah. Something I was really interested in is the promotion of the open mics. I feel like I see those so often on my feed from Song City on Instagram and just social media. But when it comes to those open mics, you're looking for spaces for people that may not have ever played before in front of an audience to come and share their art. What is that like to see an artist that is kind of opening up and being so vulnerable with their art in a space where they never have done that before?
Yeah. It's an exciting moment because you see kind of the trepidation that we've all felt before, mixed with the excitement. But because it's such a safe space in those moments, they very quickly begin to open up, and you kind of see confidence come into their faces. We do this monthly open mic called the Open Floor, and it's for all genres to come, all different levels of artists, and they get up and they play a song, and if they'd like, they can get feedback from the other writers, that are in the room. We do a song challenge phrase each month. So at the beginning of the month, we give out a phrase, and then a lot of the writers write a song using that phrase. So it's really fun to find how many different ways writers are going to use that phrase and the context of that.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. When it comes to accepting more people to come into Song City, where could people find out more about Song City? Are you actively, planning events and things like that people should be aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's kind of different opportunities. The Open Floor, like I said, is the monthly open mic, and that's open to anybody. Song City as a listening room or as an event happens every other month, and there's 4 writers that are playing that, different writers at the time, different genres. Deb is playing at this one along with Jenna Nichols and the band Architrave, and Amy Ryan, who's a local blues artist. They're playing at this one. And so that's a great opportunity also. And a lot of those people we've met through the open mic. And a lot of them we just meet because there's just such a great community of writers in the area that you're kind of seeing people playing out different places, And then we also do a retreat each year. The next one's coming up on the first week of October up at Silver Bay in the Adirondacks, and we choose 10 writers to come up and spend 4 days writing together and recording and doing all sorts of things. Deb was at that also. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different opportunities. They can find us at Song City Troy website or Song City Troy Instagram. social media.
We'll be right back to talk a little bit more about Song City and Deb's music as well. I know we talked about it at the beginning of this segment here, so coming up you'll be able to hear some of Deb's music live here in the studio, so make sure to stay tuned for that.
Thank you for tuning in again. Here's my song, I Can Be Hard-Hearted. I can be hard-hearted or soft as fluff. I can roar like a lion when I've had enough. I can purr like a kitten or hiss like a snake. There's only so much that I can take. I can be hard-hearted if you do me wrong. Oh, babe, it ain't hard to do. You be good to me, and I'll be good to you. I can be hard-hearted or sweet as pie. I can throw you kisses or I can spit in your eye. I can tiptoe around or slam the door. You'll know when I can't take no more. I can be hard-hearted if you do me wrong. Oh, babe, it's really elementary. I'll be good to you if you'll be good to me. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, babe, it really ain't hard to do. You be good to me, and I'll be oh so good to you. I can be hard-hearted or gentle as a lamb. Well, if you want to love me, you'd better take me as I am. I can be hot as a pistol or cold as ice. Treat me bad and I won't think twice. I can be hard-hearted if you do me wrong. I can be hard-hearted, oh yeah, if you do me wrong.
Introduce the next song.
Okay.
And
Yeah. This next song is called Finest Man. I went down to the corner looking for some fun. Yes, I went down to the corner, you know, I was looking for a little bit of fun. And when I saw you there, ooh, I was all undone. You walked up and asked me if I'd go for a ride. Oh, yes, you did. You walked right up and asked me if I'd go for a ride. And then the next thing I knew, I was sitting right by your side. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you said. I looked in your eyes and I was right out of my head. Ooh, baby, honey, do you know what I mean? Well, you're the finest man that I have ever seen. I don't know what you said. I looked in your eyes and I was out of my head. Oh, baby, honey, tell me, do you know what I mean? Well, you're the finest man that I have ever seen. You crept up from behind and you swept me off my feet. Oh, yes, you crept up from behind and you swept me right off my feet. And when you lay me down, ooh, it felt so sweet. I don't know what you did, I don't know what you said. I looked in your eyes and I was right out of my head. Oh, baby, baby, tell me, honey, do you know what I mean? You're the finest man. I said, you're the finest man. Ooh, yes, you're the finest man that I've ever seen.
Welcome back to Local Static. And Deb, thank you so much for performing a couple of your songs for us today. That was really wonderful to hear and to see you play that instrument too.
Well, thank you.
I've ever seen anybody play that instrument. Talk to us about what it was like to learn that instrument too.
So it was the first instrument that I started playing that I felt like I understood it intuitively. So it's now become my main instrument. And I had never seen one before either, but my partner at the time was an amateur luthier, and his retirement plan was collecting instruments, fixing them up, and reselling them. And he brought a dulcimer home one day, and I was fascinated. And once I picked it up, it was all over. I was sold.
Yeah, absolutely. What a cool plan, too. Refurbishing cool instruments. I wish that was my day job.
Right.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Did you write both of those songs on that instrument then as well?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Could you talk to us about those songs, thematically, what came to mind when you were writing them?
So the last one that I played, The Finest Man, I had two 20-year relationships, both with Cavanaughs, ironically, that didn't end well. And I had decided I was just going to be single from then on. I was already 60, and I thought, you know what, I'm not putting any more work into this. And then The Finest Man showed up, and he just has been the most supportive, encouraging, and kind person I've ever known. So I wrote that song for him.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
When did you first play it for him when you wrote it?
I did.
You did? Yeah. Was it received well, I assume?
It was. And now when I play live, when he's in the audience, he kind of does a counter thing answering to me, which was totally by accident one time, and it went over so well the crowd insisted that he do it every time.
Oh, that is so sweet. That's incredible.
Yeah.
When it came to your other song too, the first one you performed for us, what was the inspiration there? Was there any specific inspiration?
Yeah, I spent a vast majority of my life being pushed around. I came out of an abusive childhood and had abusive relationships, and finally figured out that I could stand up for myself, and that's what prompted that song.
It's incredible. Thank you for sharing such deeply personal pieces with us as well. I think that's one of the best things about art too, is being able to understand these difficult experiences that people go through, but also the relatability of it when it comes to the art too. So I really appreciate you being so open about your personal experiences, and with your art, just sharing so much of yourself.
Of course.
Thank you. Is that something that you feel is prevalent throughout your music, sharing potentially like personal experiences, or through life things that have happened to you, helping inspire your art as well?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's a mix of both. Sometimes, I often write to Scott's prompts, and those don't necessarily have anything to do with my personal life. But I think it's important as artists that we speak out about important things and that we do share ourselves. Also, in my live performances, I often tell a lot of stories because I have had a really wild life.
It's interesting. So when it comes to your live performances, you said you share a lot of stories, and is that kind of dispersed in between the music, or what is that like?
Yeah, it's in between the music. Sometimes it's as a way of introducing a song. And I'm working on writing memoirs as well.
Okay.
Because I hitchhiked across the country in the early 70s and raised kids in a VW bus and, bonded around. So I really have had quite a life and a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah. Were you writing music through those experiences as well?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really have much to do with what was happening at the time. But my husband and I wrote songs together.
Okay. That's incredible. Well, we'll look forward to hopefully reading those memoirs too. And thank you for sharing so much of your art and so many of these wonderful stories. I would need to come to a live performance at this point and hear more. When it comes to those live performances too, do you what do you value most about your live performances and being able to play with a captive audience?
Well, the interactions with the audience, but also a lot of my live performances I play with other people, and I really love that. I like that more than the solo shows. And so my band is called Dandelion Wine. So it's Deb Cavanaugh and Dandelion Wine, because the players rotate constantly. You never know who's going to be playing with me next. Yeah. And I play for all ages as well.
Wonderful. So it's very highly accessible for those watching at home. You'll definitely have to keep an eye out for some upcoming tour dates, performance dates. When it comes to the places you typically perform, are there certain venues that you tend to perform at more, or kind of expansive around the different parts of the area?
So, I really like to play a variety of places. I've played Cafe Lena a few times. I do a family show there once a year. I've done Song City. This will be my second. There's a local brewery right near my house that I play fairly regularly called the Beer Diviner. And I like variety.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to make sure that people are plugged into your upcoming performances, as well as your releases. And now that you've plugged that memoir, I'm sure we're all on the edge of our seat waiting for that. So that too. Where could people find out more about your upcoming performances and just work generally?
So I have a website, www.deb-cavanaugh.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, everybody will make sure to tune into that. You don't want to miss these upcoming performances and the work to come for sure. When it comes to Song City as well, I know we talked about the performance environment with Deb's concerts, but when it comes to Song City, not just for the artists, but generally for the community, could you talk about the environment at these different opportunities and spaces?
Yeah. One of the things I love most about it, so we do it in the round. So we have, it's what's traditionally called a songwriting circle. And I originally saw it when I lived in Nashville, and I was going to the Bluebird Cafe, which is a famous songwriter cafe there, and they would do it in the round also. So there's always 4 artists in the center of the room facing each other, and they go around. We do 3 rotations, so ultimately each artist is doing 3 songs each. And we tend to have different genres. So, for instance, this one that's coming up on Tuesday is specifically for the International Women's Day. So Deb is playing, and a band called Architrave is playing, which is a husband and wife, and they're an electronic, alt electronic band. Amy Ryan, who's a local blues artist, and Jenna Nichols, who's actually out of the city and is a country artist with, I feel like, a little kind of a 40s feel or something to it. It's awesome. So the 4 of them will be doing 3 songs each and going around. And then the audience is also in the round. And it's a big room, but we're all pretty tight together. So if you're sitting in the front, one of those front rows, you could probably reach out and touch Deb's dulcimer there because everyone's so close together. So there's kind of an intimacy that's happening at the shows. And I think that there's a lot of respect from the audience towards the artists, and that's one of my favorite parts about it, because you don't always know what you're coming for because there's 4 different artists of different genres. So there's probably always going to be an artist there that you really connect with and an artist that you've probably never even listened to, especially when there's hip-hop artists and people like that are playing that a lot of people don't expect to see at a songwriting event. And I think that's really amazing because the audience leaves understanding and respecting certain genres and ways of writing more, because they've heard it in a very kind of primitive, quieter way, you know. And I think that it's really great for a lot of the artists who maybe never even saw themselves as songwriters. They saw themselves as the writer for a rock band or an alt band or something like that, and they didn't really consider that they're great songwriters. So I think that it goes both ways for the audience. So I think everyone leaves happy and feeling a little bit more fulfilled, after it.
Such a special environment too that you're describing too, and I think it's so unique as well. It kind of breaks the barrier of the traditional concert in such an interesting way. Yeah. So we'll definitely have to keep ourselves updated on what comes up with Song City upcoming. I know you said that there's this show upcoming with the 4 artists, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. Thank you both so much again for coming on Local Static today. It was great to hear from both of you in the ways that you're amplifying local artists in different ways as an educator and then as having this space with Song City. So thank you for coming here and sharing more of your experience and your art with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for tuning into Local Static again this week. Make sure to stay tuned next week for more local artist features.